Hey all, this is arisen. Guess what? We got a new Civ in the game. That's right, there's been an update during the Australian summer. And we've got Australia! Who knew? Who expected? Well, there was news a little while ago saying it'll come out soon, but didn't expect it to be today, so imagine my surprise when returning after a day of good old-fashioned labor to know that there's another Civ to tool around with. So hey, let's go look through this, and let's go look through the patch notes too, because why not? I'm here, let's talk about it. So, Australia in Civ 6, officially now, led by John Curtin, one of them World War II Prime Minister type fellas. Anyways, his unique ability, gain plus 100% production. That would be doubled if they either have received a declaration of war, hey, if you play Deity or Immortal, that'll happen, in the past 10 turns, or if they have liberated a city in the past 20 turns. So, 10 turns of double production, or 20 turns of double production, depending on the scenario, and, I mean, that's pretty impressive. That'll get you a military in a pinch, or you could even kind of cleverly agitate someone, let's say, and force them to Dow you, because the AI doesn't need a lot of provocation for that these days, and use that to boost out a project or a wonder you're working on, you know, just kind of cleverly play that one. So there's a lot of ways to exploit that, I think. Against human players, it may be a little harder, but maybe not, honestly. It might be even better with human players trying to declare war on you cleverly, and you just get extra production. That might be even be a dissuading factor, so pretty neat. I think that could be used well, but kind of difficult to use. It should be interesting. Anyways, but that's for John. What about the Civ in general, no matter who the leader may be? Well, Australia is indeed the land down under. I will restrain myself from making any references to Men at Work, singing that damn song, or putting on a really corny Australian accent for the sake of, I know, everybody here. But anyway, what do you get? You get +3 housing in coastal cities. That is almost as good as Freshwater, which is plus... Was that +3? I think it is 5 baseline. You get a lot of housing for settling coastal cities. Pastures trigger a culture bomb. Well, that is interesting. Alright, so Poland has a culture bomb, and now Australia has a culture bomb. This one obviously more reliant on what's in the terrain, but it could be a very obnoxious way, as long as you settle intelligently and use the pasture to snoochie-woochie some land. That could parlay itself in some pretty interesting ideas, actually. Huh. That'd probably just be a general pain in the ass when the AI plays it, but details. Alright, and last but not least, yields from campuses, commercial hubs, holy sites, and theater squares are +2 in tiles with charming appeal and +4 in breathtaking. Now, that might actually be easier to get in some places, especially with campuses. You tend to be right next to mountains, especially with decent adjacency. You can get like +4, +6 on campuses. That is actually pretty wild. Holy sites the same way. Theater squares and commercial hubs less so given how you're placed, but that's impressive. It gives you another reason to worry about tile appeal, and, ooh, I mean, kind of late game, but the Eiffel Tower might actually play onto that too well, pretty well. Maybe even some great engineers or great merchants, so, okay, that's an interesting way to exploit it, but early game, definitely campuses are going to get a huge boost from that and holy sites as well, so, very neat. Good yield, good yield. And especially in the early game when your science is counted in like 8 or 10, you know, +6 if you nail that one is a huge boost. That could be pretty valuable. Alright. Unique unit, stuff time. We got an Australian unique modern era unit in the Digger. I said I wouldn't do that. No, don't kill me. It replaces the infantry. +10 combat strength when fighting on coastal tiles. This is kind of like Japan adjacent in a way. And +5 combat strength when fighting on neutral or foreign territory. So, you know, it'll be valuable. Not great for defending the homeland unless you're on a coast, but if you want to go out and beat the crap out of someone with your cool hats, you can do it. Last but not least, a unique improvement called the Outback Station, which is a unique improvement for Oz. +1 food and +1 production. That's baseline. Okay, that's a pretty decent balanced one. That can turn plains into something very, very useful, actually. Ooh, I like that a lot. And +1 food for each adjacent pasture. Again, kind of riding off of that pasture mechanic. That could be very powerful, actually. I wonder if there's limitations. There's limitations at the end. Let's finish reading the whole thing. Production, additional food and production as you advance through the tech and civic tree for adjacent outback stations and pastures. So you can make these one between the other, which is pretty interesting. I wonder what techs trigger that. Can only be built in desert hills, grassland, and plains tiles. That's a lot of different tiles, actually. Save what? Tundra? Yeah. So that can make desert not suck if there's a pasture around. That could be pretty interesting. And desert hills could be pretty good. That'll be 1 food, 2 production base. I get some food out of desert. This could be a pretty flexible Civ, depending on how you play it, and especially additional food for adjacent outback stations as well. You stack a bunch of these in the desert, and you can make inhospitable land quite hospitable. This could be a very interesting Civ that can settle in places you wouldn't expect and really make use of it. I think there's a lot of potential here, especially the housing on coastal cities, again, kind of with the theme of making places you wouldn't necessarily settle initially very valuable. Early, strong districts. The unit is pretty solid if you're invading someone. The Citadel Civilization is a pretty good way to exploit production. And the outback stations could really turn land that's not awesome to some pretty decent yields. So I'm actually kind of impressed. This could be a lot of fun to play. None of the abilities are particularly OP, and there's a lot of different stuff going on. There's housing, there's yields, there's food and production, there's a unit that does extra damage. Like, there's a little bit of everything, but if you play it right, you can really parlay this into something powerful. So I'm kind of excited to try this out and see how it runs out. So anyway, that is the new Civ, and this is actually from a DLC. So you'll need to purchase this if you want to play. It's not free. You also get Uluru, which is a unique, a natural wonder, which gives you culture and I think faith to adjacent tiles, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a little different than the Civ 5, which is food and faith. And you also get a scenario with this, and it's basically a purely economic scenario, allowed to murder anybody, and you're supposed to gain money, or production, or culture and stuff. I haven't played much with it, but that's part of the DLC pack. But there's also patch notes which change balance, so we're going to jump to those and see what's up with them. Alright, new changes for the game balance overall, and these are free, according to Hurrah. It's just a balance change. So let's start with the beginning, which is a very good place to start. Teams! There are now finally multiplayer teams in Civ 6, which I know the community's been asking for a while, so that's always really solid. Makes me happy when they start adding stuff we actually want. And this feature builds upon updates to the Alliance Agreement. Players on teams gain additional benefits. So, what are they? When one teammate finishes research on a tech or civic, their teammates receive a boost. Teammates share war status against opponents on their team. Okay, so the first one, obviously, you can boost each other up, make it a little easier to compete against your enemies if you go in different directions in the tech tree. You share war status, so if one dows someone not on your team, you can dow them. I mean, you're forced to dow them. You also share allied status, so you can't necessarily dow your ally if someone makes allies with someone. They work together to win or lose the game as a single entity, and the victories have been reworked. Okay, let's see. Religion requires you to convert all civs to one of the religions started by your team. Does that mean they all have to be the same one, or one of the religions has to be in all the enemy? Let's see, you both start a religion. It's either one or the other could be in all the enemy cities and you win. I'm not sure how that works. Or converting, majority in enemy cities. That's ambiguously written, actually, so we'll see how that actually works. Culture victory requires one member of your team to be culturally dominant of a players not on your team. Okay, so that's pretty understandable. And now, oh my gosh, look, there's actually modding tools. There's modding tools. There's a Steam workshop now. Ah, no way. Finally, we can start seeing mods popping up here. Oh, this is going to be a good day. A good day for Civ 6. So, updated lobby and in-game UI to better show additional content. Great, that'll be handy. Sid Meier's Civ 6 development tools. Right, between Mod Buddy tools, Fire Tuner, and the Steam Workshop uploader. Look at that stuff. So all you modders, all you zombies, show your faces, and we're going to start jumping around, seeing some good stuff. I can't wait to see what the community comes up with. Obviously, for those of you who do this sort of stuff, can't wait to see what you come up with. It's a large download, but it's got models, textures, interface elements, and the most important thing, the easiest distribution system we have is via Steam Workshop, and we'll have that compatibility as well. So finally, there'll be a centralized Civ 6 modding database. Cannot wait to see this come up. So they'll receive additional updates in the future as part of a modding SDK. So not, I don't think, completely fully featured yet, and do not include DLL source. All right, so you can't do too much crazy stuff that modifies DLLs, but I think new civs will be manageable here, at least to an extent. All right, it's a start. It's a start, but there is Steam Workshop access, so modding community will be happy. All right, miscellaneous stuff. Added True Start location features. Oh hell, in game no less, where civs start on the world map at their geographic origin. I feel a TSL coming on. I kind of do. And added a city-state slider to the game setup. All right. I mean, if you want less of these bastards, that's fine. What else is here? It looks like we're for some balance changes. Start position and map generation has been tuned. Okay. Ambiguous as hell, but ideally that would be a good thing because sometimes I start balanced games and I end up in the tundra with no fresh water and, like, a sheep. So, on a balanced start, mind you. So that's pretty good. Maybe that'll fix that complete mess. Updated ice generation to allow for more circumnavigation. Okay, great. That's good. Less blocks on the map, which makes me happy. Commercial hubs and harbors provide +1 trader capacity, which is normal. But only the first one applies. Ah, so they used to stack. So it's really an either-or now. Okay. I can see the rationale for that. Interesting, though. You have to pick an either-or. Huh. Alright. Fair enough. So, if you're inland, commercial hub. If you're on the coast, pick one. Which makes sense. Or near the coast, at least. Units that are embarked now use an era-based strength value instead of their base combat value. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Because if there's, like, a warrior in a dinghy, and you're being attacked by, I don't know, a quadrireme or a galley, he should not be living very easily, but instead they can, you know, survive pretty well and get to land before. So I'm hoping that era-based strength isn't too high, and that actually makes sense from a game balance perspective. Interesting. Okay. Many of the text that reveal strategic resources have been changed to reveal the resource before it is needed to build a resource-dependent unit. Okay, so this probably means coal shifts earlier than steam power. Oil probably shifts earlier than combustion. I guess that's off the cuff likely what it may be. Maybe uranium shifts early, I'm not entirely certain. I don't remember the tech tree completely yet. But, okay, that makes sense. I guess you know whether you want to keep going deeper into that instead of investing and finding out, well, you're screwed now, so that's pretty good. Players can now build obsoleted units if they do not have access to the strategic resource required by the upgrade unit. Thank you! Thank you! That's so important, because when I don't... oh, that's so important. Because let's say you're playing Rome, e.g., and you have Legion, and then you get the musket tech, and you suddenly realize you don't have Niter, and then you're screwed. Because you can't build your Legion anymore. You can't build warriors, and you can't build muskets. So, I'm so glad they put that in. The same thing for siege units, too. If you're stuck with catapults, you try to get bombards, and you have no Niter, like, okay, I'm really glad that's in there. I'm very glad that's in there. Thank you. That's very important. Tech tree balance. Oh, that's good. Adding several prerequisites to address paths through the tree that were too quick and led to era transitions too early. Gee, you think? Information era in 1500. You know, that happens a lot. Especially on the higher difficulty. There's a couple deity games I did that I've had. So that's not fun. Good. I'm glad that's being addressed because we really need that. Horseback riding now requires archery. Archery no longer a leaf tech. I think that makes sense given that we went from animal husbandry anyway and you always get archery. I mean, without that early game, you're in trouble. Stirrups is now in the late medieval and costs 390. It was early and cost 300. That's a good change, especially for stirrups. The AI tended to beeline stirrups and then spam you with knights if you're not careful. Teddy had done that to me one too many times. I'm kind of glad that got pushed back a little bit. It'll give you a chance to get pikes up. So I think that's a very good change, actually. A very good change. Industrialization now requires square rigging. Really? Okay. So beelining that would require you to most efficiently kill something with a musket. So that's less easy to rush, and that's fine. I'm actually okay with that. We'll see how that shakes out in general, because if you have to go through the naval line to get industrialization, that might have unfortunate implications. I have to see how that balance shakes out. Scientific theory requires banking. Good. So we can't beeline all the science texts in one row. Steel now requires rifling. Fine. And computers now requires radio. Okay, computers is pretty easy to boost in general, so having it prerequisite of radio makes sense. Alright, I mean, those are some changes. I don't know if it's going to be enough yet, or if it needs to be rearranged further, but we'll see. Updated the cost and strength of some air units. Again, thanks for being ambiguous as hell, but I guess we'll figure out how that works. Change movement rules after disembarkation. Cannot land on shore with more movement than your land movement allowance. Okay, that's fair. That sounded kind of exploity, so that kind of makes sense. Updated Viking scenario to 60 turns for all of you who are still Vikinging along. Okay, fair enough. AI tuning time. Increased desire and ability to use nukes and aircraft and maintaining a standing military. General AI attack improvements. Okay, so the AI will kill you easier and will have more aircraft and nukes. All right, I mean, because I have yet to see aircraft and nukes used well by the AI, that's probably a good change. I tend to see AIs maintaining a standing military pretty well if they want to do it. It's usually all or nothing, I feel like. You get civs that just have a massive standing military, and you get civs that get basically nothing, even in like the information era. So that's a little... I think that needs to be changed, the flavor, rather than everyone having a standing military. But okay, I will see how that changes shake out, because these are pretty vague patch notes anyway, so I don't know. We'll see how that shakes out. Increased desire to declare friendship. Oh, good, because right now the only desire is to hate me and kill me, so maybe that'll help. Reduced frequency of your troops are on my border warning. Oh, good, because you sneeze in a general direction with an extra scout and suddenly they freak out. Updated settlement preferences. Less dumb cities. That's fine. Barbarians now rampage when their camp is destroyed. Oh, dear. I don't know what that means. Alright, I guess we'll see what that means. Maybe they just run at your city and try to murder everything in sight. They kind of do that anyway, though, so I don't know what that means exactly. Maybe they get another level of badass. Who knows? We'll now liberate minor civs and cities of current allies. Oh, okay. So the AI might have an honor quotient now, which is pretty cool. Tune strategic and luxury resource training. Alright, maybe that'll lead to more deals where as soon as they don't like you, you can never get money for your luxes. Hopefully that'll lead to less dumb deals of give me 20 GPT and 2 luxes because I don't like you. Maybe. We'll now be more aware of gold income and work to bring in more. I don't know if that's necessary because the AI tends to get pretty gold loaded, especially on higher difficulties, but okay, we'll see. Support units will recognize they are not under threat if they share a hex with a friendly unit. Oh, that might be the whole wake-up thing constantly. Alright, that's fair. That might fix that issue. Added a grace period of 2 turns after the end of open borders before the AI starts complaining you're too close. Okay, that's smart. Good change. Barbarians may now pillage tiles to heal. God damn it. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Alright, well... Wait, didn't they... Wait. Didn't they pillage already? Like, farms to heal? I thought they did. Does this mean they can pillage, like, off of campuses and stuff? Ooh, that would suck. Oh, we'll see. And we'll now continue to research repeatable texts and civics. It doesn't really matter. But alright, fair enough. What else is out there? Alright, bug fixes. Oh, good. I like bug fixes. Congo relics no longer get multiplied by faith yields if more than one is in the same building. Less OP Congo! Yay. Fixed some bugs with great people not interacting correctly with Vikings and natural wonders. Fine. Haven't played that scenario, but I'm glad you fixed it. Samaria will no longer share joint war experience with a player when killing barbarians. Ah, okay, that's good, because that should be only for war. Corrected tourism calculation from national parks, which are correct awarding. Didn't realize there's a problem, fair enough. Fixed an issue where you could sometimes not offer joint war. Okay. Spies will not have the steel tech mission available when you have already completed all techs. Smart. City-states gain territory for influence even if they get the influence before founding their city. What? Territory for influence even if they get the influence before founding the city? Not sure what that means. That's like turn 0 though, right? I'm confused, but okay. When a player is destroyed, his captured spies die with him. Okay, fair enough. I guess they're in your jail and they just languish. Oh, that's kind of harsh, but okay. All your active spy missions stop in a city that you or your ally has just captured. That makes sense. Fixed problems in tactical combat that was preventing units from capturing builders. Really? There was a problem when capturing builders? I guess... Oh, yeah, there's some movement issues, actually. No, that's fair. Good. You're no longer allowed to declare war on declared friends or in an enforced peace period from the troops near me warning. I was wondering about that, actually, because I've had that come up, and I'm like, I can really Dow inside of a peace treaty? Good. I'm glad they fixed that. Increased jet fighter and jet bomber sight range. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. That makes more sense. Additional bug fixes. Thank you for ambiguity. Can we make these a little more detailed next time for access? Legit. Visuals. No new snow environmental VFX and sand environmental visual effects. Yay. Multiplayer added turn unready button, fair enough. And for the UI, added more bindable keys. You can bind alert action. We're binding that shit to A as soon as I'm able to. And add notification for when a player loses territory to do a culture bomb. Good, I'd like to know when I'm losing stuff. Alright, last but not least, some audio changes, some missing UI sounds, fair enough. Vikings DLC, added voiceover, updated quotes, more natural wonders, and while you're in the scenario. That kind of is the same thing, but okay. Credits are updated, fixing missing error, X images, fine. Updating game concepts for the sections, I see. Explain some things that were not there before. Patronage, gold, income for foreign trade routes. Maybe we'll actually learn more stuff about that, fair enough. Okay, that's pretty much the changes there, so if you stuck for it this long, I'm impressed. But that's really what the Australian summer update brings, which is currently winter in the northern side of things, but down under, it's toasty. So, alrighty, well, thanks for joining me for this one, and we'll see what the future holds for Civ 6. But hey, more mods, and more standard mod distribution are on the horizons. I can't wait to see how that shakes out, so I'm very excited to jump on into that as soon as possible once good stuff starts coming out, and knowing the community, it will. So hey, new Civ, if you pay for it. Bunch of new changes that may fix the zooming through eras. I think things are improving as the game matures. I'm looking forward to it. And remember, Civ 5 was not really considered a decent game until Gods and Kings came out. It was the first time people were like, wow, I'm going to take this game seriously now. So I gotta say, despite all the niggles on Civ 6 so far, it's moving in the right direction. And honestly, on release, it was a much better position than Civ 5 was. So I'm cautiously optimistic it'll keep going in the right direction as we keep playing it and feeling it out. And, mature games take a while to become solid like a fine wine or a smelly cheese. I'm going to stop talking. I've been Hurrah. I'll see you all in game sometime in the near future. Till next time. Till then.